Okay, so first of all, when writing an academic essay, your research topic on which you write about needs to be something you actually care about, and that is pretty much a given. Like, you cannot write a fulfilled, like, passionate and a quality essay without actually caring about what you're writing about. Second step is to research everything, and you can choose any source. This can be like articles, documentaries, books, whatever you can find on the given topic, as long as the source is a reputable source. It has to be reputable. It can't be from Wikipedia or your nan. It needs to be a reputable source, and you can find plenty of reputable articles on Google Scholar. So if you don't know what that is, it's essentially a section of Google that has all of these like academic essays published onto there. So just search up in your search engine Google Scholar, and then go on there and just search up the topic on the search engine. When you are in the research phase, make a Google Doc or a Word document or a notebook if you prefer that. Basically what you need to do is every time you're looking through a particular source, make notes on the source and then put all of the information about that source. For example, if it's a website, you need to put the link of the website. If it's an article, you need to write down the name of the article, the names of the authors. Same for books, documentaries, anything. Write down all the information about the source underneath the notes that you've written from that source. Reason being, I'll get to that at the end of the video, why you will need that. Also, when you're writing about a particular source, if you are taking a quote from an article, for example, word for word, put it in quotation marks so that if you were to insert that into your actual article, then you can put that in quotation marks as well. And also, obviously, if it's a quotation, then you would need to know who is saying that quote. For example, in my essay, I wrote about a person called Robin Chutkan, a gastroenterologist, and she spoke about the microbiome as a biological data log of our lives. Obviously, because I was taking that word for word from a documentary, from what she said, then I put it in quotation marks so they knew that it was an actual quotation. It's all about plagiarism and copyright. You need to be really, really careful about that. Okay, so once you have done your research and you have enough information, you need to have like a Word document or a Google Doc or a notebook page just full of all of your information and all of the source information as well. So once you have all of that, you need to look at how you're going to structure things. So look through all the notes that you've made and then just categorize them into what kind of subtopic they fall under, because you'll probably have like a bunch of scattered notes everywhere. You want to make sure that they're all within certain categories, all of these notes from different sources, so that you can then decide which subcategory is going where in your article. For example, my article was about you are what you eat. To what extent is this true? So I spoke about the microbiome in our gut being an intermediary between our diet, what we eat, and our psyche, so our cognition, our behavior, etc. So when I was doing my research, I found a bunch of notes specific to the microbiome, like what the microbiome is. I found a bunch of notes specific to how the microbiome affects our brain, and I found a bunch of notes specific to how our diet affects the microbiome. So I managed to categorize them, all of my notes, into those three categories, and then I decided what order they're going to go in within my article. Once you have like a specific order of what is going to go where, like in terms of like chronological order, what kind of topic is going to go where, like what follows after, then what you need to do is decide how many paragraphs you're going to have and any extra structural features. Ways to do that is especially if you are applying for like an essay competition, for example like the Immerse Essay Competition, go on their website and just look at previous winners' essays. So when you go through the previous winners, note down like what kind of structure they're using, like how many paragraphs, like how they've actually structured the information, what kind of structural technique have they followed, and eventually you'll probably be able to figure out a pattern between a lot of the previous winners' essays, that they all seem to follow a particular structure. Then obviously you'd want to implement that structure in your own essay. For example, I'll give you my structure. So first I gave like a general definition of the microbiome and what it was, and then I wrote a little summary saying, in this article I will first talk about this and this, and I'll talk about that, and then I'll talk about that. So basically I laid out a summary within the introduction about what I'm going to talk about. Then obviously I went into like the subtopics. Each paragraph was related to a particular subtopic, and I already planned what I'm going to write and where. And then at the end I just wrote a quick conclusion that basically tied all the loose ends together and just like solidified everything that I'd said previously. Once you have come up with a particular structure, you then want to go ahead and write your first draft. And obviously the first draft is not going to be great, it's going to be rubbish, there's going to be loads of spelling mistakes and punctuation and grammar mistakes, it's going to seem a bit wishy-washy. The first draft is what you need to get started, so obviously don't be afraid to start drafting even if you don't feel particularly ready. As long as you have done enough research, as long as you have come up with a solid structure, the structure is so important. As long as you come up with a solid structure, just put pen to paper or like, you know, mouse to keyboard or something, and just, you know, just start writing. Once you have made the first draft, obviously you then want to proofread, cut out unnecessary bits of information, refine, make sure one paragraph flows to another using sentence starters and stuff. And finally, once you have made an article that you are happy with, you then want to go back onto the Word document or the Google Doc or notebook page where you wrote out all of your research, and remember I told you need to write out all the information about your source, like where you got it from, like links if it's a website, the names of the authors and stuff. What you are then going to do now is create a bibliography. So I'm assuming you guys would have a particular referencing style that you need to follow. If you're doing it at a university or an essay competition, they should tell you what referencing style you use. For me, I use the Harvard referencing style, I believe, in my essay, because that was the referencing style that they used in the competition. So then obviously once you have a particular referencing style, you need to follow that in terms of putting like the superscript numbers next to bits of information, and then at the bottom of the page writing where you got that information from, as in the source, and then at the end writing a bibliography of all of the sources if it is within your referencing style. To sum it all up, first thing is make sure you have a topic that you care about. Second thing is do lots of research from reputable sources and have all of the source information, like where you got the information from, on a Word document or a notebook page. Third thing is make sure you have a solid structure and do some structure research as well on the competition website pages if it's a competition. Then you draft up, then you redraft and proofread, and then you solidify your referencing style and create a bibliography. And yeah, I hope this helped, and I hope you do manage to write an amazing essay. You got this, Andrew? Bye guys.